Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, and the thumbnail, that thumbnail is actually Lestat from the film Queen of the Damned. It's a great scene where Lestat comes out and he says he's going to out all the vampires. And he says, come out wherever you are. Well, that's kind of how I feel at this point in this, what do you want to call it, the timeline of the fake foreign professionals here in Thailand. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. You know, I had kind of just a live and let live attitude about that. And I didn't really want to get into it because, frankly, I am kind of a believer that you want positive movement forward, if you will, positive building. You know, you want to build things. You don't want to get into just ranting about things you don't like, whatever. Although there are those who would say, well, what have you been doing on this channel? Well, fair enough, but I like to think that the stuff that I've criticized in the past is more conceptual. I don't really want to get into going after people or whatever, but honestly, I'm tired of this now. You know, it's gone too far, and especially in the social media era, these frauds and fakes are just all over the place. You know, at the end of the day, I've discussed this at length. Accountants, lawyers, doctors. Doctors are a little bit different thing. A foreign national can become a doctor, medical doctor here in Thailand, but they have to pass the Thai boards. So if you're going to somebody who claims to be a doctor in Thailand, medical doctor, and they're a foreign national, you need to ask them, where are you board certified in Thailand? Let me see your documentation. Meanwhile, with things like law, nationality is dispositive for whether or not you can actually engage in that profession. So too with accounting. So too with property and real estate agency and brokerage. So too with visa agency and brokerage. It's all there. It's all in the restricted occupations. I've gone over this at length in many other videos. I'll stick a link in the description below to the restricted occupations. By the way, they're from the Department of Employment and they're in English on the Department of Employment's website. There is no nebulousness about this. I know that these foreign so-called professionals run around and say, well, you know, it's a gray area. No, it's not. No, it is not. Stop with that. That's nonsense. And it's only hurting people. That's the reason I'm getting so mad about this now. It's got less to do with my own personal stuff, although that was starting to bug me. It's the fact that they're becoming more and more pervasive, and they're getting out on social media, and they're saying things that's just patently untrue, and they're getting people in trouble. People have criticized me many times on this channel saying, well, you don't tell us the answer. You don't get specific enough. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Because if I did that and people went out and detrimentally relied on what I said, in their circumstances, it might not apply, and they could get hurt by it. That's why I don't advise like that, you know, and only an idiot runs around giving one-size-fits-all advice. It's a telltale sign of an unprofessional, quite frankly. And then meanwhile, don't even get me started on the total fakes. I mean, total fakes. Just, we've had fake lawyers out here for years. People that just say, oh, I'm a lawyer. What's your credential? Nothing. I read a book once. You know, I love that one. I've read law. So reading, the ability to read, therefore makes you a lawyer. You know, look, again, I don't want this to turn into a rant, but I do want to be clear about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And why I'm doing it is because in no other jurisdiction on the face of the planet have I ever seen a place where foreigners come to it and then just start saying, well, I can be a lawyer. I can be an accountant in this country. I mean, do people come into America? Are people walking into Kansas and say, I'm going to advise on Kansas tax law. Never been here before. Don't live here. Aren't qualified to provide such advice, but I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You know, what jurisdiction is that okay in? You know, and quite frankly, I've never seen people more quick to completely just flout and disregard relevant local laws than a number of foreigners who come here to Thailand. It really is galling, but beyond even that, it could cause significant damage, and quite frankly has. Year on year on year on year, not a year went by that I didn't see people who lost money buying an entire house because the structure was done improperly, or they weren't advised how to do it, or they didn't know what they were getting into, or got into some corporate endeavor that turned out to be some big boondoggle because one of these flim-flam men, one of these bucket shop people, one of these fly-by-nights told them it was okay, and they just bought into it because they didn't know any better. Look, at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is this needs to end. You know, and this notion that foreigners can just come here and pretend to be professionals here, it's just nonsense. Okay, we need And it really, it erodes the credibility of the rule of law. It erodes everything. You know, so at the end of the day, my only point is, look, if you're dealing with some foreigner here in Thailand that's claiming to be qualified and claiming that they are legally operating the way that they are, check into them. First of all, the big one, are they operating in law or accounting? Are they a Thai? If they're not, boom, that's your answer. You shouldn't be talking to them. Okay, medical degree, fine, medicine. You know, you're talking to a medical doctor who's a foreigner, claims to be a medical doctor in Thailand. Ask them, are you board certified here? Get their documentation. They'll be happy to provide it if they're legitimate. If they're not, maybe look somewhere else.